My girlfriend demanded I sell my late father's workshop, so I made sure she could never touch it. I'm a 31-year-old guy sitting in my dad's workshop at midnight, staring at the vintage motorcycle he never finished restoring, wondering if I just saved my life or destroyed it. My girlfriend Rachel, 29, and I have been together for 2 years. She's a corporate consultant who makes twice what I make as a high school shop teacher. She's driven, ambitious, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought she was the woman I'd marry. Then she saw the property appraisal. The workshop sits on 2 acres in what used to be the cheap side of town. My dad bought it in 1987 for $45,000. He was a master machinist who dreamed of opening his own custom fabrication business. He spent 30 years building that dream, one tool at a time. The property has a 3,000 square foot workshop with every piece of equipment you can imagine. A full machine shop, welding stations, a paint booth, and a small office where he kept meticulous records of every job. Dad died 2 years ago. Heart attack at his workbench. He was 62. I inherited everything. The property, the tools, the half-finished projects, and the crushing weight of his unfulfilled dreams. I've been going there every weekend, teaching myself to finish what he started. I run a small side business doing custom metalwork and motorcycle restorations. It doesn't make much money, but it keeps me connected to him. Rachel has always been supportive of my hobby, in that patronizing way people are when they think you're wasting your time. She'd visit occasionally, wrinkle her nose at the oil smell, and leave, until the rezoning happened. 3 weeks ago, our neighborhood got rezoned for mixed-use development. Suddenly, my dad's property in the cheap area is worth $1.2 million. Rachel found out before I did. She came over to my apartment with champagne and her laptop. "Baby, we need to talk about our future," she said, barely containing her excitement. "I did some research on your dad's place. Do you know what it's worth?" I had a sinking feeling. "It's not for sale, Ratch." She laughed like I'd made a joke. "Honey, I'm not saying sell it tomorrow, but think about it. You could liquidate that property, we could buy a condo downtown, you could quit teaching, which you hate, and I could help you invest the rest properly. We'd be set. I don't hate teaching, and that's my dad's life's work." "Your dad is dead." She said it so casually, like she was stating the weather. "That workshop is just sitting there collecting dust and costing you property taxes. It's not a shrine, it's an asset. We could use that money to actually build something together." That we made my blood run cold. We weren't married. We weren't even engaged. But she was already spending my inheritance. "I'm not selling it," I said. Her smile tightened. "Let's talk about this rationally. You spend every weekend in that garage playing with old motorcycles instead of spending time with me. You come home covered in grease. You're a high school teacher who could be living a completely different life. Don't you want more? I want to finish what my dad started." "Your dad's dreams aren't your dreams. Or are they? Do you really want to be a 50-year-old shop teacher still tinkering in a garage?" We fought for 3 hours. She pulled out spreadsheets. Actual spreadsheets showing how we could invest the money, what kind of returns we'd get, how much our lifestyle would improve. She had clearly been planning this for a while. The fight ended with her saying, "Just think about it. Really think about whether holding on to the past is worth more than our future." I did think about it. For exactly 1 day. Then I called my dad's best friend, Tony, who's an estate attorney. "Tony, hypothetically, if I wanted to make sure a property could never be sold, what would I do?" There was a long pause. "What's going on, kid?" I told him everything. Tony knew Rachel. He'd met her at Dad's funeral where she spent the whole time checking her phone. "Your dad told me once he was worried about vultures circling after he was gone. He meant your Uncle Danny who kept asking to borrow tools, but I think this applies. Let me draw up something ironclad." A week later, I signed papers establishing the Workshop Heritage Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to teaching underprivileged kids skilled trades. The property went into it. I'm listed as the executive director with a modest salary, but I can't sell it, can't mortgage it, can't touch the equity. The board consists of Tony, 2 of Dad's old machinist buddies, and my younger brother Jake, who's currently deployed overseas. The property is protected forever. It will be used to teach kids the skills my dad believed in. If I die or leave, Jake takes over. If something happens to both of us, it goes to expanding the program. It's exactly what Dad would have wanted. I wish I'd thought of it before he died. Rachel has no idea. She's been sending me real estate listings for downtown condos all week. Yesterday she sent me a link to a retirement calculator showing how we'd retire at 45 if we make smart moves now. I haven't told her yet. I'm sitting in Dad's office, looking at his records. He kept every receipt, every invoice, every thank you note from customers. There's a photo of him and Mom from their wedding day, and underneath it, a note in his handwriting. Built with love, meant to last. I'm going to tell Rachel tomorrow. I have a feeling it's not going to go well. Update 1. It went worse than I imagined. Much worse. I asked Rachel to meet me at the workshop Sunday morning. I wanted her to see it one more time, to understand what it really was before I told her it was untouchable. She showed up in a designer outfit completely wrong for a machine shop, carrying her tablet. Oh good. Are we finally listing it? I brought comps from the area. No. We need to talk. I told her about the foundation. I explained what it was for, why I did it, how it honored Dad's legacy while actually doing good. She went white, then red, then a color I don't think humans are supposed to turn. You did what? Her voice hit a pitch that made the windows rattle. You gave away $1 million? I didn't give it away. I protected it. From me? You protected it from me? She was screaming now. I am your girlfriend. We were building a future. Were we? Or were you building a retirement plan off my dad's death? She slapped me. Actually slapped me across the face in the middle of the workshop. How dare you? I have stood by you for 2 years. 2 years of you being a mediocre teacher making mediocre money, and I stayed because I loved you and I saw potential. And this is how you repay me. Rachel, we've never even talked about marriage. We were getting there. Everyone knew we were heading that way. I've been waiting for you to get your act together, to grow up and see the big picture. I turned down a job in New York to stay here with you. That was news to me. She'd never mentioned a New York job. I invested 2 years in you, she continued. I could have been with someone successful, someone ambitious, someone who wasn't afraid to make real money. Do you know how many men have tried to take me out? How many opportunities I've passed up? And there it was. I wasn't her boyfriend. I was an investment. A bad one, apparently. I'm sorry you feel that way, I said quietly. I think you should go. Oh, I'm going. But this isn't over. That foundation thing? There are ways to challenge that. I know lawyers, corporate lawyers who eat small-town estate attorneys for breakfast. The foundation is ironclad. We'll see about that. She grabbed her tablet and stormed toward her Mercedes. Halfway there, she turned back. You could have been somebody. Instead, you'll die alone in this disgusting garage just like your father did. What a waste. She drove off, tires spitting gravel. I stood there for a long time. Then I went inside, fired up Dad's old motorcycle, and finally got the engine running smooth. It's a 1973 Triumph Bonneville. Dad bought it the year I was born. He always said we'd ride it together when I got old enough. We never did. But I'm going to finish it now. Update 2. Rachel went nuclear. I mean scorched earth, apocalyptic nuclear. First came the social media campaign. She posted a long, weepy story on Instagram about how I emotionally manipulated her for 2 years and then trapped her by hiding assets and future potential. She made it sound like we were married and I'd cleaned out our joint accounts. Her friends flooded the comments with support. Several of them I knew we'd all had dinner together. They called me a con artist, a manipulator, a hobosexual. Apparently a man who uses women for stability while pursuing hobbies. My phone exploded. I got messages from people I barely knew asking if it was true I'd hidden $1 million from my girlfriend. Several asked if Rachel needed financial help to recover. Then she went after my job. She filed a formal complaint with the school district claiming I'd used school time and resources for my side business, and that I'd inappropriately discussed personal finances with students. Both were completely false, but the district has to investigate all claims. I got called into the principal's office like a student. I had to explain that no, I've never discussed my inheritance with students, and no, I've never used school equipment for personal projects. The principal believed me. I've been there 8 years with 0 issues, but the complaint goes in my file. But the worst part? She contacted my Uncle Danny. Uncle Danny is Dad's younger brother, a perpetually broke alcoholic who Dad cut off years ago after Danny stole tools and tried to pawn them. Danny's been bitter ever since, convinced he deserved half the inheritance. Rachel found him on Facebook and fed him a story about how I'd stolen his rightful inheritance by putting the property in a foundation to hide it from family. She told him the property was worth over $1 million and that he could sue to break the foundation and claim his share. Danny showed up at the workshop last Tuesday, drunk, with a lawyer he'd clearly found on a bus bench. The lawyer looked embarrassed to be there. "You stole from family," Danny slurred. "Dad's property should have been split. You're just like him, thinking you're better than everyone." "Dad left everything to me in a clear will," I said. "You know why? Because of some missing tools? That was years ago. This is different. This is my future." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Sir, I've reviewed the case preliminarily. The will is valid, the foundation was established legally, and I don't care," Danny shouted. "You're going to sue him. Rachel said you could break it." "Rachel doesn't know what she's talking about," I said. "There's nothing to break, Danny. The property is gone. It's a non-profit now. Even if you sued and somehow won, which you won't, there's nothing to take." The lawyer nodded. "He's correct. I'll be withdrawing from this matter." He literally walked away, leaving Danny sputtering in the parking lot. After Danny left, making various drunken threats, I called Tony. "She's building an army," I said. "Let her try. Every frivolous lawsuit makes our position stronger. But you might want to document everything. Screenshot the social media posts. Keep a record of all contact." I've been doing that. I have a folder now labeled Rachel's Revenge with screenshots of every post, every message from her friends, copies of the school complaint, everything. My brother Jake called from overseas yesterday. He'd seen Rachel's Instagram somehow. "Bro, what the hell is happening?" I explained everything. There was a long silence. "Dad would be proud of what you did with the property," Jake finally said. "And honestly, I'm glad you found out what she was before you married her. Imagine if you'd had kids." That thought made me cold. She would have had access to everything. The workshop would have been liquidated in a divorce, split down the middle. Dad's legacy turned into legal fees and spite. Instead, it's safe, untouchable. Last night, I taught my first class at the new foundation. 5 kids from the local community center, ages 14 to 17. I showed them Dad's tools, taught them basic welding safety, let them practice on scrap metal. One kid, Kevin, barely said a word the whole time. At the end, he asked quietly, "Can I come back next week?" "Every week," I said. "That's why this place exists." After they left, I sat in Dad's office and looked at that photo of him and Mom again. Built with love, meant to last. Yeah, Dad, it will. Final update. 3 months later and the dust has settled into a pattern I can live with. The legal scoreboard. Rachel followed through on her threats. She found a lawyer willing to take her case on contingency. Probably because he didn't do his homework. They filed suit claiming promissory estoppel. She claimed I'd promised to marry her and share assets, and intentional interference with prospective economic advantage. Somehow my dad's death and my inheritance interfered with her financial future. Tony almost laughed himself sick reading the complaint. His response was surgical. He included screenshots of Rachel's Instagram posts where she mentioned we'd never really discussed marriage, text messages where she called my teaching career acceptable for now, testimony from 3 of my colleagues confirming we were never engaged, the original will showing clear intent to leave everything to Meth Foundation's nonprofit certification, and tax-exempt status character statements from Dad's friends about his wishes for the property. The best part? Tony subpoenaed Rachel's financial records as part of discovery. Turns out she'd taken out a $50,000 personal loan 3 weeks before the rezoning news broke, listing expected inheritance settlement as collateral justification. She'd been planning this. Her lawyer withdrew after the first hearing. The judge called her case fantastical and awarded us legal fees. Rachel owes me $8,000. I'll never see it, but it's on her credit report. Uncle Danny's attempt went even worse. His busbench lawyer quit immediately, and when Danny tried to file pro se, representing himself, the court rejected it within 24 hours. He sent me one last drunken voicemail calling me a backstabbing yuppie. I'm a shop teacher making $52,000 a year. So, and then vanished. I heard through the family grapevine he moved to Arizona. The social fallout. Rachel's Instagram crusade backfired spectacularly. One of my students' parents saw her posts and recognized my name. She did some digging, found the foundation's registration, and made her own post praising what I'd done. It went viral in local mom groups. Suddenly Rachel's narrative of manipulative boyfriend hoards inheritance became shallow girlfriend tries to steal nonprofit from underprivileged kids. Her friends started quietly deleting their supportive comments. Several apologized to me directly. Rachel deleted all her posts and made her account private. Last I heard, she took that New York job she'd turned down for me. Or maybe there never was one. I don't know and I don't care. The school district investigation closed in 2 weeks. Not only was every claim unfounded, but 3 students voluntarily wrote letters supporting me. The principal told me off the record that the complaint made Rachel look unhinged and that I shouldn't worry about my file. The workshop, this is the good part. The part that makes everything else worth it. We've had consistent classes every week. Word spread through the community center, the high school, and local social services. I've had to add a Tuesday session to accommodate demand. We now have 12 regular students, aged 13 to 18. 2 of Dad's old clients donated materials. A retired welder volunteers 3 hours a week. We got a small grant from the county for educational nonprofits. It's not much, but it covers utilities and supplies. The kids are learning real skills. Basic welding, machining, woodworking, small engine repair. But more than that, they're learning focus, patience, problem solving. One kid, Marcus, yeah, I know, ironic name choice, told me his grades went up because the workshop taught him how to think through problems instead of just guessing. Kevin, the quiet kid from the first class, barely speaks to anyone anywhere else. But in the workshop, he comes alive. He's a natural machinist. His hands are steady, his measurements precise. Last week, he made a custom tool holder that's better than anything I could have designed. My dad was never around, he told me while we were cleaning up. This is the first time anyone's taught me something real. I had to step outside for a minute after that. Last month, on the anniversary of Dad's death, I finished the Triumph Bonneville. It's beautiful. Deep blue paint, chrome gleaming, engine purring like a cat. I took it out for the first ride alone, but I could feel him there. I rode past Rachel's old apartment building. She'd moved out months ago. Someone had planted flowers in the window boxes. It looked nice, like someone was actually living there instead of just using it as a launch pad for something bigger. I rode to the coast, watched the sunset, and realized something. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. The cost. People keep asking what this cost me. Rachel's gone. Uncle Danny's gone. I've got $8,000 in legal fees even after the judgment. Tony gave me the family rate again. My social life took a hit while people sorted out Rachel's lies. But I've also got a workshop running 5 days a week teaching real skills 12 kids who have somewhere to go after school. My dad's legacy not just preserved but amplified. The Triumph finally running, peace of mind knowing I can never be pressured to sell. Rachel called it a waste. She said I'd die alone in this garage like Dad did. Maybe I will. But Dad didn't die alone. He died doing what he loved, surrounded by the work of his hands. There are worse ways to go. And I'm not alone anyway. I've got Kevin asking me to show him how to rebuild a carburetor. I've got Marcus designing a better welding jig. I've got Jake coming home next month to teach a class on military-grade fabrication techniques. I've got Dad's tools still sharp. His workbench still solid. His dream finally realized. Last night I was locking up when I saw it. Someone had carved something into the door frame. Fresh. Recent. It said, "Thanks for everything, Kevin." I stood there for a long time, running my fingers over the letters. Vandalism, technically, the best kind. This morning I added a new entry to Dad's record book. The last entry he made was April 3rd, 2022, the day before he died. Just a simple note, Triumph Project, nearly there. My entry, dated today, Triumph finished. Foundation established. Teaching 12 students. Dad, we made it. We're finally there. I closed the book and put it back on the shelf, between his wedding photo and his master machinist certification. The workshop is quiet now, but tomorrow afternoon it'll be full of kids learning to build things that last. Built with love. Meant to last. That's the deal.